Hi, it's Mary, a traditional Chinese medicine tutor and an acupuncturist in Canada. Today's video will discuss how the wane and wax of the moon will cause the rise and fall of the human body's qi and blood. Accordingly, how to select appropriate time for using acupuncture technique of strengthening and reducing, including bloodletting. We will also mention how to prevent disease by following the rules of the wane and wax of the moon. Based on whole reason, traditional Chinese medicine believes that the humans and the environment are integrated. The environment will affect human body and life activities.
Wane and wax of the moon versus Chinese lunar calendar.
We know the moon makes circular movement around the Earth. By Chinese lunar calendar, there are 29 or 30 days a month. The moon on day 1 is called the new moon. The new moon cannot be seen as it is hidden in the darkness. This is because the moon is totally blocked by the Earth. No sunlight can be shed on the new moon. From day 1 to day 7 or 8, the moon waxes and becomes the first quarter moon. On day 15 or 16, the moon has reached the maximum in size, which is called full moon. The moon is also a turning point from where the moon starts to wane. On day 22 or 23, the moon is called the third quarter moon. It further wanes until the last day on 29 or 30. The moon becomes dark and cannot be seen again. The last day's moon looks like the new moon but different. The last day's moon is the end of a decreasing process, the maximum of yin. The first day's moon, the new moon, is the beginning of the increase of yang qi.
How do you know it is a waxing or waning crescent moon?
The waxing crescent moon looks like an opposite C.
The waning crescent moon looks like the letter C.
This photo was shot on October 21st, 2023, which is the 7th day of the 9th month by the lunar calendar in Toronto, Canada. This moon looks like the opposite letter C, and it is a waxing crescent moon.
The human body's qi and blood rise and fall, following the wane and wax of the moon.
Chinese medicine believes that the moon's wane and wax deeply influence the human body's zangfu organ function and the body's qi and the blood. When the moon is full, the body's qi and the blood is full as well. The muscles becomes firm, the defensive qi becomes strong. According to Huangdi's Yin-Yang Classic of Medicine, Plain Question, Chapter 26, following the moon waxing to the first quarter, the human body's qi and the blood begins to increase. The wei qi, so-called defensive qi, starts to flow smoothly. When the moon wanes, the body's qi and the blood declines accordingly. The muscles weaken. The meridians become empty. The defensive qi subsides. The body becomes weaker in defending the pathogenic factors. The human body's qi and the blood according to the wane and wax of the moon.
The depth of disease is related to the moon phases.
Huangdi's Yin-Yang Classic of Medicine, Spiritual Period, Chapter 79, talks about the relationship between the depths of disease and the moon phase. When the moon is full, the body's qi and blood is more abundant on the body surface. The muscles and skin are firm. The sweating pores are closed. Even if at this moment the pathogenic qi attacks human, the depths of disease will be shallow, the illness will be mild. When the moon wanes, the human body's qi and the blood will be less. The defensive qi on the body surface will weaken. In this period, Even people look like they are the same as in the moon waxing phases. Relatively speaking, they have looser muscle and skin. The sweating pores are open. The superficial part of the body are not firm. In this situation, the pathogenic qi can quickly arrive at the deeper part of the body, leading to sudden and severe conditions.
Apply the strengthening and reducing needle techniques in accordance with the wane and wax of the moon.
Traditional Chinese medicine's treatment principle is to resume the balance of yin-yang by reducing the excess or supplementing the deficiency. In other words, if there's too much, reduce it. If there's not enough, supplement it. The balanced yin and yang is the healthy state. Under this general principle, Biao Yu Fu and acupuncture literature puts forward the following guiding principles of applying acupuncture technique of strengthening and reducing following the wane and wax of the moon.
No supplement on the full moon day.
No reduction on the last moon day. When the moon is waxing to the first quarter, don't deprive the growing power with the reducing method. The protection of the newborn yang qi is always emphasized in the TCM idea, just like we always protect children.
When the moon is in the waning crescent phase, this is not the time suitable for treatment. Since the body's qi and blood are relatively low and still reducing during this moon phase, it is a bad idea to make a further reduction. But when using the strengthening method, it is like rolling a boat against the current in a river. Thus, the treatment will have fewer therapeutic effects.
Plain question, chapter 26, also talks about applying the supplementing and reducing acupuncture techniques following the moon's wane and wax, and the consequences of not following the rules. When the moon is waxing to the first quarter, do not use reducing technique. When the moon is full, do not use supplementing technique. When the moon is dark and lightless, neither should not be used. If the rule is not followed, applying the reducing technique when the moon is a waxing crescent will weaken the internal zangfu organs. This is the result of reducing the deficiency. Applying the supplementing technique when the moon is full will reinforce the overflow of the qi and the blood on the body surface, resulting in blood stagnation in the collaterals. This is the result of supplementing the excess. Neithering on the last day of the lunar month, when there is no moon, will disrupt the meridian qi's movement, making the disease go deeper inside and become more severe.
No bloodletting when the moon is equal to or less than half.
Bloodletting is a reducing acupuncture technique, so it follows the same rules as the reducing acupuncture technique. Here is the recap.
No bloodletting on the new moon day and the last moon day.
There is no bloodletting on the crescent moon days, whether it is the waxing or waning crescent moon.
The best day to do bloodletting is the full moon day.
The second best period is from the first quarter to the full moon, when the moon is more than half in size. In this period, the body's qi and blood are not too low and are still increasing.
The last period, may be alright to do bloodletting, is from the full moon to the third quarter. In this period, even though the body's qi and blood are declining, the average qi and blood volume is not too low.
The above rule generally can be simplified as no bloodletting when the moon equals or is less than half in size. When the moon is more than half in size, bloodletting can be considered. Of course, the moon's wane and wax is one of the factors influencing our treatment plan. There are many other factors we need to think about. For example, a freezing cold day is not suitable for bloodletting, as the freezing cold will coagulate the blood and obstructs the blood movement.
As a general Chinese medicine treatment rule, we need to think about first the level of the body's qi and blood, which is the indication of healthy qi. before we take action to eliminate the pathogenic qi or evil qi.
After all, traditional Chinese medicine aims to maintain human health. Any methods of killing pathogens are under the condition that the patient's healthy qi has been protected.
Professional judgment is required in clinical practice.
Wane and wax of the moon, vs. prevention of disease.
Traditional Chinese medicine pays much attention to the prevention of the disease. Traditional Chinese medicine advocates preserving the body's essence qi, the Jin qi, without wasting it improperly. Now we know on the last day and the first day of the month, when the moon is dark and lightless, our body's qi and blood are also relatively deficient. We also know that the body's essence and the blood share the same source. Now, question time.
Suppose there is a patient who is weak due to long-term chronic disease. Is it wise for this patient to have sex on the last 10 new moon days?
People with chronic disease or who are weak should not have sex at least on the last moon day and the new moon day, as blood and the essence has been deficient already due to the chronic disease, which will be worsened on the no moon days. Having sex makes the qi and the blood deficiency even worse, even leading to the yang depletion symptoms such as profuse cold sweat, cold limbs, pale complexion, even passing out. If you find this video helpful, please give me a like, subscribe to it, and share it with others. See you in my next video. All the best.